brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the Good Old Boys. And now it's sippin' time.
Yes, it's sippin' time again, and welcome to this episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, where everything good in life is worth discussing. As always, we are the best thing on at 2 a.m.
And 3.
We are normally a 1-hour show, but today we're going to be doing 61-minute shows in a row, so hold on to your rear end. We are still banned in 11 states, 27 counties, and by the Nevada Gaming Commission from entering any of their casinos. Apparently, they thought Justin was counting cards because he went in there with no shoes on.
I plead no contest.
This is Made Man Bob, and joining me today are Made Man Maury.
Good morning, Bob. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited about this assembly of fine whiskeys you've established.
Yeah, okay. Good old boy Justin.
Morning, Bob. Thanks for decorating for the Derby. Looks great down here, the basement.
Okay, there's the first 1-minute show. Let's move on to the second one to be entertaining. And good old boy Harmeet.
Thank you for having me, Bob. I was told this would be a whiskey show. I was expecting scotch, but I see a bunch of bourbon in front of me. I won't complain. I will drink your
Fine,
bourbon.
get out.
And roll tide, my friend.
Get
roll
out.
Tide.
Just get out.
No.
That's easy enough.
Banned in Alabama, I know.
You should be banned everywhere. All right, well,
I once joined a band, but I could not carry a tune.
you couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Maury and myself are with the Bourbon Mafia. The Bourbon Mafia is a nonprofit organization composed of bourbon enthusiasts and industry professionals. With representation in 8 states, our members combine a love of bourbon with a passion for charitable work.
This sounds like a racket.
The group
You
uses...
guys drink and raise money.
Yeah. The group
Total
uses...
racket. What's
wrong with
if
that?
you'll shut up, I
That's
can
living
finish.
life.
The group uses their love of our native spirit to raise money for local and national charities through rare bottle auctions and other themed events. Check them out on Facebook at the Bourbon Mafia. There's no such thing as a mafia.
And there's no, you can't talk about the mafia.
There is no such thing as a mafia.
So it's this little thing of ours.
Our show
Well, yours,
is
sorry. I'm
also
not part of that.
sponsored in part by Fine Spirits in Cooper City, Florida, home of the enigmatic machines that aren't yet hooked up.
Oh, jeez.
That will eventually...
We've moved.
will
New
eventually
space.
serve great, okay wines, whiskeys, and other spirits by the glass. You can find them sleeping in the back of the store.
www.finespirits.net/finespirits or what did I say? www.finespirits.net or facebook.com/finespirits or instagram.com/finespirits.
Or pretty much any website that has naked animals on it. Okay. Our show is sponsored
How many
in part
websites have
also.
clothed animals on them besides Disney?
Yeah, you. Okay. Our show is also sponsored in part by the Florida Whiskey Society. To find out more about the society and their events, visit them at ftlws.com.
Or just come down to Fort Lauderdale and drink with us.
Pretty much any time.
Yeah.
Our sip segments are all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, and coffee. And today's show is a odds and ends show. And we're going to be tasting a whole bunch of different whiskeys from a whole bunch of different distilleries. So here's a list of what we've got today. We have the Bullet Rye 12-year-old version. We have Cream of Kentucky Bourbon. And from Bardstown Bourbon Company, we have the Fusion Series No. 1 and the Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series No. 1. And we have Blade and Bow Bourbon. So we're going to have Justin in his inimitable style.
Your best Kentuckian voice.
Or they're all the same accent at this point.
Drunken leprechaun, I believe.
We can always go back to the Rip
Brent
Taylor.
is the drunken leprechaun.
We can always go back to the Rip Taylor, guys. I'm just saying.
Oh, let's do Rip Taylor again. Paul Lind.
Which is Paul Land and Rip Taylor are pretty much the same. One's just a little bit more snarky. Yeah. Can you do snarky?
I can do a snarky Kentuckian.
All right.
All right, take it
One
away.
sip. Come on, do it. One sip.
One sip. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
That's sad.
Oh, gosh.
That's just sad.
Oh.
Yeah. My brain hurts right now.
2 sips. Nice. What else do you have?
Unless you
A little bit of a pause.
Sips
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, it's a little bit
he's
of a
not gonna
pause.
say it.
3 sips. Interesting. What was this again?
Interesting.
4 sips. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another.
That's classified.
5 sips. Oh my. I was unaware anything could be this good.
Oh my goodness!
He went really soft on that one.
Yeah.
It kind of was disturbing.
No, it was very disturbing. That's- you know, the last time somebody heard something in that tone, it was, they were tied up in the back of a van. Yeah.
5 sips is that good.
And I
though.
like the,
5 sips is tie me up in the back of the van.
That's right.
I like the, and 5 sips. I like the dramatic part. There's that big pause there. Like,
Yep.
Southerners
You thought it
don't
was
rush to
dramatic. I
get
thought
a
it was just collecting
sentence
his
out.
thoughts and try to come up with the next word.
it's like when your computer is buffering, you know,
buffering.
the hamster fell asleep and is trying to catch up.
Ah, see, you're from near the city, Maury.
Yes, sir.
Things are slower in the South.
Big pause. Big pause. All right.
Well, Justin, tell us what you got.
Well, we have the Bullet 12-year rye, 92 proof.
How many-
40
what percent ABV is that? Just
That would be 46%
Calculator's
alcohol by
working
volume.
today.
it wasn't 33 1/3.
And most importantly, it's non-chill filtered, so they leave all the good stuff in there.
All the fatty acids.
Yippee
and minerals.
that's Harm's, his wife's pet name for him, fatty acid.
I told you
Yeah.
I'm on a statin now, man.
I didn't get any of
I'm
the
staying away from the burgers.
good black char on my teeth, but it was very good.
Hey, what you and Mr. Char do in the privacy of your own home is up to you. I throw no aspersions, but let's just talk about the whiskey, shall we?
Bullet 12-year-old straight American whiskey is the 5th addition to the Bullet Frontier whiskey family, as well as the first extension of Bullet Rye. This whiskey is sourced
Can
from
you name those 5 expressions?
Can I name them? Bullet Rye, Bullet Bourbon, Bullet Barrel Proof,
That's
and I'm
three.
missing one.
10. I think there's bullet 10.
Oh, Bullet 10, right. And then this one, Bullet 12.
Right.
I've never had the 10. Have you had
The 10 is bourbon.
Yeah,
The 10's
bourbon.
Yeah, it's quite good.
10's
I
okay.
haven't had that yet.
The
Need to test
barrel.
that.
You need to
Now
leave,
that I've
It's more
you need to
muted
leave the state of
than
Florida once
the
in a while,
regular
man.
Bullet.
Is it not in Florida?
I don't believe so.
So this whiskey is sourced from MGP, my favorite distillery in Indiana, and it is made by using their standard 95% rye and 5% Marley mash bill.
Marley,
Malted
Bob
barley.
Marley.
malted Marley.
Malted barley.
Malted Marley.
Just call it Marley for short.
Marley's fine.
Everything gonna be all right, man.
Yeah, man. The
Okay.
colors amber,
Justin's
like a
been drinking,
beautiful
folks, in case you didn't know.
sunrise. Little bit.
We've
No,
been
more
we-
more than a little bit.
This is a good tasting. I mean, I'm still disappointed there's no scotch here, Bob. But whatever. Sorry, Justin. Go
There's the
ahead.
door, Hermie.
Yeah, I know.
I'll have plenty on my trip to Scotland, so I'm not worried
gonna
about
cut
you.
boy.
Harm's going to launch his own Scotch podcast calls
Yeah.
Who
Take
Cares
it-
What Harm Thinks About Scotch?
Yeah. Everyone cares what harm comes.
Called Mr. Bitter Drink
I
Scotch.
was actually approached to start. Another podcast. Oh, jeez, just about scotch. None of your bourbon stuff, man.
What are you waiting for?
I don't
Yeah,
have the time
go.
for this. You guys got me drunk already.
So I got a good rye hit on the nose. Nice powerful rye.
That's beautiful.
Got a little bit of cocoa powder. The more air hit it, the better it behaved. On the palate, it followed through on that rye promise on the nose. Nice, smooth, strong rye. A little bit of allspice. And a touch of star anise.
Oh, good one. I didn't catch that. Did you get star anise, anybody?
I did not.
Bob, Maury?
I did not, but I thought it was delicious rye. I thought it was a wonderful expression. I agree. It's got baking spice, dried fruit, vanilla on the nose. It's definitely got that little hint of cocoa. I thought it was
Both of you guys got cocoa? I just thought he was nuts.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was in agreement with him. I thought it was nice. Palette again, baking spice, cinnamon, citrus, cocoa, a little burnt caramel, toffee, oak. I just thought it was lovely and very well done. The finish was nice, medium to long. Excellent job.
Nah, I got apple. Nobody got apple.
Nope.
Rye spice.
On the finish.
Sorry, no.
No, on the nose. Dried
You're
apple.
sucking
and
on your
dried
phone,
orange.
you idiot. Yeah.
Huh?
You're sucking on your phone.
What? Dried apple and dried oranges. The rye spice is there, cinnamon, the flowers. I don't get the chocolate you guys are talking about. There's some nuts. I put a drop of water in there. It brought out more of the citrus. And baking spices, you're dead on. I just don't get that chocolate you're talking about. But the caramel, the toffee, the oak.
I don't get the chocolate on the nose. I
Huh?
get the chocolate on the palate.
Chocolate on the palate. Let me try.
Yeah. I get the dried fruit. I get the oak. I get a little bit of mint on the nose.
Yes, you're right. Mint.
I get a little bit of walnut. And then on the palate, it's the baking spice. It's the cinnamon. It's the
This is just very well done. This is very
burnt
complex. I could just
caramel and
keep coming back
toffee
to it.
and just,
And for some reason, they're selling this for 40 or 50 bucks.
yeah.
It's
So
a bargain.
go out and buy it because
That's a bargain.
6 months or a year from now, they're going to raise
jack
it
the price.
$20. Easy.
But I still do get that hint of dill.
You do not get dill.
Absolutely do.
Would you stop eating pickles before the show?
Absolutely get that MG pill.
MG pickle.
He stands for, yeah. You thought it was Midwest Grain Products. No, sir, not. But
Midwest grain
Midwest
pickle.
Dill Pickles?
Pickled grain. No. So, do we have a score for this, Bobby Joe?
yeah, but I'm not telling you.
Oh, come on, man. We're up
Tell
against
our
a hard
listeners.
break.
Don't tell them. Tell our listeners.
We're giving this one 4 sips.
That's classified.
Hey, and we're back, and this is a sips episode, an odds and ends episode. So we've got a lot of different whiskeys that we're tasting. We just finished tasting the 12-year-old Bullet Rye. Great whiskey. Great deal.
Why can't they spell bullet right?
They're spelling it right. You ever been to
People
Kentucky?
actually come in the store and ask for bullet.
It's the name of the county.
That's the name of the county.
That's where it is.
You're the one spelling it wrong. It's been around longer than you have, so there.
I'm younger than all you guys in this room. Actually, am I Justin? Are you younger?
Baby.
Yes.
You're a baby. He's a baby.
Boy, that's a scary looking baby.
That is a scary looking baby.
Rosemary's Baby, perhaps. All right, so we're going to our next one, and we're going to have Maury tell us about this one.
Thank you, Bob. This is the Cream of Kentucky 102 proof, or for those of you who need a math lesson, 51% ABV, 11 and a half year old. It is only 9,000 bottles were produced. The Cream of Kentucky brand traces its roots back to the 1880s when it was owned by I. Traeger and Company of Cincinnati. The brand was acquired during Prohibition by Shenley Distillers, who reintroduced the brand in 1934. Cream of Kentucky grew to become one of the leading bourbon brands in the 1930s and 40s, with renowned artist Norman Rockwell providing much of the award-winning artwork for the branding during this time.
Wow.
I bet you didn't know that. Unfortunately, like many brands, it was one of the many victims of the decline in popularity of brown spirits in the United States in the 1970s and 80s. During this time, the brand
Everybody
ceased
was smoking
production.
pot and doing drugs. They weren't drinking enough whiskey.
Correct.
I blame your generation.
Thank you. During this time, the brand ceased production and its trademark was abandoned. Now, this historic brand has been rescued by one of the biggest names in bourbon, Jim Rutledge, the former master distiller at Four Roses. Thankfully for bourbon fans, retirement didn't seem to stick with Mr. Rutledge, and so he and business partners are working on opening the new J.W. Rutledge Distillery in Oldham County, Kentucky. While they work towards getting the distillery into operation, they've released this Cream of Kentucky 11-and-a-half-year-old expression using bourbon sourced from an undisclosed Kentucky distillery.
I've got to guess.
Yeah. Well, it's got a beautiful golden color bordering on copper. I love the color, but more importantly, I love the nose. The nose has just got cherries and citrus and spice. It's got vanilla and all things nice. There's definitely a hint of peanut and a hint of citrus. On the palate, it's got a wonderful mouthfeel. It's just viscous. It just coats your palate. It's just voluptuous, delicious, and just all-consuming. Again, cherry, some citrus. You definitely get some caramel, some toffee, butterscotch, tobacco, just layers upon layers of flavor and complexity. Just can't say enough great things about this whiskey. The finish goes on and on. I thought it was fantastic. Justin, what'd you think?
I absolutely loved Cream of Kentucky.
Thank you.
It's a nice dark amber color. On the nose, I got cherries. I got a little bit of rye, some peanuts. It definitely felt like a premium Jim Beam product. Not that we know that that's what it is. We don't, but it's insanely good. It has an outrageous mouthfeel. You got the
That's
vanilla.
what she said.
You got the vanilla you want in any premium bourbon. You got light oak. I could drink this all day till I pass out. And the finish is
That was
really-
yesterday, Justin.
Yes,
That was
well,
yesterday.
and tomorrow. But it had a very nice finish to it. I love this.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fabulous. I just love the voluptuous viscosity in the mouth. It just really is coating and just wow.
Well, they have the right name because that creamy
Yeah.
mouthfeel.
It's creamy.
Yeah, it's just
Creamy.
on the nose. I'm getting the cherries. I'm getting the spice. Get that little peanut hint up in the tip of the nose. That beautiful creamy mouthfeel. Get some
Nobody mentions oak here. What's
get
going
some
on?
stewed fruit. Get some caramel,
I mentioned oak. You were coughing.
the butterscotch, and tobacco leaf, and just.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that was the note I was missing. Nobody said tobacco, right? That
I said tobacco.
I wasn't listening to you, Maury.
You
Come
were
on,
busy
man.
coughing up a lung.
Allergy tech.
It is really, really well done. It's got a great mouthfeel. It's got a pretty dang good finish on it too. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. But
I'm very happy that they sent us a large bottle.
knowing Jim,
Yeah.
Jim's not going to put anything in a bottle that's not going to meet his standards. So you knew going in before you opened it was going to be pretty good. But this is
Last time I saw Mr. Rutledge, he was signing bottles at the store 6 years ago. You probably seen him more often than that. You're always up in Kentucky every time I turn around. But this is so good.
Boys got to have
Is
fun.
there another release coming out of this? What's going on before they
Yeah.
open the new distillery?
Yeah, they'll do more.
Is there an older one? You've been talking to them.
Yeah, actually, they have sourced some more barrels, so they have plenty for. I know at least one more, maybe two more releases of this. So there should be more to come, and I'd be more than happy at any time to review any and every release that comes out of this.
I want more. I think
Hint.
did nobody mentioned smokiness on this one. There's a little hint of smokiness on the nose, a little smoked oak, a little charred oak.
It does remind you
Let's
of
just
like
go
a
without
really
saying
nice
anything.
high-end cigar.
I don't get so much smoke because I get a little bit of barrel char to it, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
this
that's what
one-
I'm thinking. Barrel char.
yeah, this one
This
was
is so
lovely.
pretty, dude. This is so pretty. Unfortunately, they're not selling it in Florida yet, so I'm SOL. But and I hear it's quite pricey. Anybody know the retail on this?
Not off the top of my head.
I know secondary, it's going for 150, 200.
Not secondary.
Secondary, that's when people are illegally reselling their bottles.
Oh, I know what that means.
Only horrible people would do such a thing. What kind of an animal would do such a thing? Well, we're going to be giving the Cream of Kentucky 5 sips.
Oh my goodness!
Yes!
Bring me more.
All right, so we are now going to go to our next whiskey, which is from an entirely different place, and we're going to have Harm tell us that if he can, not cough up blood.
I had an allergy thing, man. Come on.
Yeah, sure. Wasn't it
I did not inhale the bourbon.
Yeah, wasn't any of that
just a
Coke, was it?
rude-
No. Yeah.
That's a rookie move, my friends. I don't do that. Don't try talking
Merely
while
a
you've got
rumor.
high-proof
Moving
bourbon in your
on.
mouth. So, The next whiskey we have here is the Bardstown Bourbon.
while we're young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what Rodney has to say to you. Come on, let's go.
love that guy. He's dead now.
Yeah, I know.
Bardstown Bourbon Company,
Damn it.
Fusion Series number 1. 98.9 proof for 49.45% ABV for you mathematically challenged. I also would not have calculated off the top of my head, but we have it written here. That's a behind the scenes trade
You're
secret. We have that
revealing the
stuff written
special
down.
sauce.
Yeah. So the good old boys and made men did an episode earlier of the show where they spoke about Bardstown Bourbon Company. I unfortunately could not make it that day because we weren't drinking scotch. In a very short time, they had become a major player in the Kentucky bourbon business. They started out by contract distilling for a large number of customers. They currently produce 40 different mash bills for some of the finest whiskey and bourbon brands in the world and most modern distilleries in the country. However, while doing all of that, they've also been working on their own products. Smart guys. The first release of their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey is the Bardstown Bourbon Fusion Series number 1. This product is a blend of their own whiskey and sourced Kentucky bourbon. The blend is 18% 2-year-old wheat whiskey and a 42% high rye bourbon from Bardstown Bourbon Company with an 11-year-old sourced Kentucky bourbon. So you got a 2-year-old wheater, a 42% Bardstown. Is that wheater also from Bardstown, Bob? Do you know? Doesn't say here.
Yeah, they're both.
So the wheater. So the wheater.
If you read
and
it the way it's written and don't drop out commas and paragraphs and things, then yes, it's a.
I don't see
Yeah.
anything about wheat bourbon and
Yeah.
I see
You couldn't find it.
commas.
Yeah, I know.
Commas. Gotcha. So there's 2 whiskeys
English.
here from them.
It can be fundamental. Yeah.
Reading is fundamental, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach that to my daughter. She's a big math whiz.
That would explain why at 17 she still can't read.
She's 5.
Moving on.
I will cut you. All right. The color. This is a purdy amber. That's a purdy whiskey you got there, boy.
Or as Justin would say, brown.
Or just would say
Light
brown.
brown. Light brown.
What shade of brown?
And the nose. I love the nose on this whiskey. It's vanilla fudge, caramel sauce, slight hit of peanut, and a hint of mint. Now the palate, that's where this one fell down for me. I taste it again now this had time to breathe. I make the noises for you kids while I taste. It's kind of one note on the palate. It's got that brown sugar, a little bit of oak. That vanilla fudge doesn't come through. The peanut didn't come through. A little bit drying on the finish. So I thought it promised more on the nose. Justin, what did you think about this brown liquid?
I thought
It was brown.
Okay, moving on.
Thank
the
you, Justin.
nose,
It's been a pleasure having you today.
it had raisins, stewed fruit,
Where'd you
cocoa
get
powder
raisins?
from the nose.
No raisins.
Almonds and pears. On the palate,
Jordan almonds.
it
There are
had
no pears here.
on the
smell
palate it had none of it. On the palate there was some vanilla. Tasted like a rye spice, and it had a long, complex finish. Air didn't do this one any favors. It was best right out of the sample bottle.
May have actually faded a little bit.
It faded.
Time in the glass.
So drink it fast when you buy it. That's my advice. What do you think, Maury?
Well, I'd have to agree with you, as much as I hate to admit it. I thought this was
you
a
agree
nice
it's brown?
effort, but I think that it's got a little bit too much of the young spirit, and
It's not a high percentage, is it?
60%.
18% 2-year-old. Yeah,
And then
42.
42% of the Bardstown rye, which is
they're
also
both
going to be
2
less than 3 years.
They're both 2-year-old. Yeah.
right.
Both 2-year-old.
So you're looking at 40% of mature whiskey, 60% of
60.
immature whiskey.
Yeah, you're right.
And, honestly, I think it's going the right direction. I think it shows promise. I think it'd be great in another couple of years, or certainly much improved.
Or maybe 50% young whiskey, 50% older whiskey.
Yeah. But bottom line is that it was young. To me, the nose was green and young and young corn. It's not a bad effort. It's well made.
Oh, no,
It's
this is
going the
going
right
to be
direction.
good. It's just not there
It's just not there yet.
Bob, did you agree with us? Or are we just
trying to figure out where he's getting green and corn from.
I don't get the corn.
Yeah,
I
something's
like
broken
to,
in him
to,
today.
you know,
Well, if their bourbons are at least
question everything Justin
51%.
says.
he reads numbers and he starts thinking up. Yeah.
I don't
That
get the
must
green corn notes either.
No.
But to me, it's vanilla fudge, man. This is vanilla fudge.
Yeah, I get the pear. I definitely get the pear.
Where are you getting pear? What kind of pears do you
I
eat?
smell pear. And
Not a very ripe pear.
no.
Unripe pear.
And
Yeah.
I get definitely a honey note, and there's a little bit of a floral note. That's what's blowing
That's the
off.
rye. The rye is the floral note.
But the real floral sort of is blown off since we've opened it. And on the palate, I mean, just sweet spice. I get a big hint of walnut.
Nobody got mint or peanut. Am I the only one who's just nuts?
It's mint on
Haven't
the nose.
gotten there yet. Sorry, I'm getting walnuts, a little bit of mint, a little bit of spearmint, regular mint. I get some vanilla on it, and it does. It's got a pretty good finish on it. I mean, it
I
sticks
like the
with you.
nose. I could smell it all day long. I just didn't enjoy the palate.
Yeah, the finish definitely sticks with you. So they're absolutely going in the right direction. There's no doubt about that. So I'd say it's pretty good whiskey. We're going to be giving this one 3 sips.
Interesting.
I, Bobby Joe, you give it 3 sips.
we're
You tell
moving-
me about the next one, Bob. What's
Moving
up,
on
made
to
man?
the next one from Bardstown Bourbon Company, which is their Discovery Series. This one is 121.21 proof, or get this, 60.605%. Get out your calculators.
That's a lot of digits.
This is presented to show the blending talents over at Bardstown Bourbon Company. This product combines a sourced 12-year-old Kentucky bourbon with light accents of older and younger sourced Kentucky bourbons. It's 75% of the 12-year-old, 5% 13, and 10% of 10-year, and 10% of 5-year, which should equal 100 if I'm not mistaken. So, the color on this
Hold
is
on.
100.
35. No,
100.
you actually got 100 and you've got more than 100% here. You actually have more than 100% here.
No, it's 100.
no, it's not.
Go back to elementary school,
Yeah.
Harm.
Oh, I see 10 year. Okay, gotcha.
Somebody
Sorry.
want to buy this idiot some glasses?
10, 10,
I wanna
5,
start
75.
printing this in
Glasses off.
Braille.
I've been drinking bourbon all day.
Dear
You
Lord.
guys-
Then just sit over there and be quiet then.
Putting harm in timeout.
It's got a really nice
Had a
color to
coughing
it.
fit.
Almost like a dark amber, a little bit of copper around the edges.
Mahogany.
The nose to me is all toffee. It's
For sure.
toffee. A little bit of vanilla, but all toffee. And on the palate, this one definitely big oak. Getting some tannins on it. Caramel and vanilla and baking spice.
You don't get black cherry?
No.
No?
No, not at all. I'm getting hold on.
It's that toffee.
Yeah, I'm still getting the toffee. It's the toffee on this thing is huge. And this one, honestly, this one has actually, from when we first opened it, this thing was, the oak was a whack in the teeth. It's really the oak is really mellowed out since we first opened it. So,
This kind of reminds me of Stag Junior.
a lovely
Yes.
whiskey.
This
Really?
reminds me of Stag Junior.
Yeah.
You're right, harm.
It's a brick to the teeth.
Yep. I mean, yeah. And again, like I said, I think it's softened a bit.
Yeah.
So, just a lovely whiskey. What'd you think, Justin?
I got pears that disappeared after a half hour. Baking spice stayed through it. A hint of raisins and some dates. On the palate,
I'll give you the dates easy. That's a good call.
He's always looking for a date.
on the palate,
Swipe right, Justin. Swipe right.
spicy oak, and I got tobacco, like an intense tobacco note, like a very short, hot cigar. And the finish is really long.
That's exactly it. It's a short, hot cigar.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And the finish is really long. It's not insanely complex.
I prefer a short, hot blonde.
Too bad they don't prefer you.
I know.
Go back to sleep.
Better to have a bourbon bottle in front of you than a frontal lobotomy, harm. What did you think, Maury?
I agree with you, Justin. I thought it was beautifully done whiskey. It was definitely a step up from the previous expression. the Fusion. Again, we admit to being proof hounds, and I love the higher proof. I thought it had a lot of complexity, a lot of flavor. I definitely got a lot of the caramel, toffee, and oak.
Did
on the
anyone put
palate.
water? Did you put water?
I did not put water in it, but I thought it had a beautiful finish that just kept going and going and going, and I liked it. I liked it quite a lot.
I agree with everything you guys said, but I got cherries on that long finish. Tobacco, brown sugar, toffee, cherries on the finish. Like I said, reminds me of Stag Junior. So it's good stuff. Oh yeah, just give me more. Give me more of this.
Yeah, that's just, again, it's right in your face. The oak and the tannin it's just like getting hit in the face with a bat.
Try a drop of water. I think you'll get the cherry coming out.
What did you think with the water? Or you haven't done it yet?
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm adding more. I'm getting more of the fruit.
All right. We're giving this one 4 sips.
That's classified.
And we're back, and we're doing a odds and ends show, talking about different whiskeys from different distilleries. We just finished up talking about some of the stuff from the folks at Bardstown Bourbon Company. So now we are moving on to one from the folks at Diageo. We've got the Blade and Bow whiskey, so we're going to have Harm tell us about that one.
Not ready to move on, man. Still drinking this Bardstown. This last one, dude. Oh my god. Discovery Series. How many whiskeys are in this Discovery Series?
It just started.
They just started. This is number 2.
It was number 1 of Discovery Series.
Is it not Discovery 2?
No, it would be
The other one was
Discovery
Fusion.
number 1.
Fusion 1, Discovery 1. He has a problem with math today. I don't know what that is.
Not just today.
Well, every day.
No, man. I took AP Calculus in
You
high
ever been to
school.
a store?
I can do math.
Yeah, he failed it, but he
charge
took
you
it.
double.
I got an A, my friend.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, okay.
Did you get a solid 1 on the AP test?
Yeah, in his dreams.
5? Woo! So you didn't have to take it in
Anywho.
college.
Huh?
So you didn't have to take it in
I
college.
didn't have to. I did anyway because Tulane made me.
Ah.
Yeah. They didn't. They apparently didn't take the AP thing credits. Anywho, kids, Blade and Bow Kentucky Straight Bourbon is 91% proof, or it's 91 proof, 45.5% ABV. It is a non-age statement whiskey. And I'm drinking the wrong one. Let me switch glasses here. It's like, that doesn't smell right. So as I'm sniffing and speaking, declaiming about this wonderful whiskey, bourbon fans all over the world know and are familiar with the history of Stitzel-Weller Distillery. Opened by Pappy Van Winkle on Derby Day in 1935, this legendary property was the home of Old Fitzgerald, and was in operation until 1992. The distillery eventually came to be owned by Diageo, which continues to own the property to this day, and produces Blade and Bow Kentucky Bourbon. Blade and Bow pays homage to the history of the Stitzel-Weller Distillery. I can't keep doing this. I'm sorry. They
Would
play.
you like me to take over for you?
Huh?
Would you like me to finish reading
No,
it
no.
for
It
you?
said they can't do. I'm saying that I couldn't do the stupid accent anymore.
Through their use of the Solera aging system.
Oh, you're gonna continue the stupid accent.
Sure, I can.
You can do that.
I
just
can do
go
stupid
ahead.
accents all day long.
Yeah. You do it. Finish it. Go ahead. You do.
So they use a Solera aging system to preserve some of the distillery's oldest whiskey stocks, including some of the last bourbon produced there. The Solera they use is 5 levels high.
Five.
5.
So basically, the youngest bourbon on the top level, the oldest whiskey on the bottom.
All the good stuff's on the bottom, the Stitzel-Weller stuff.
So the Solera aging system means they can't use an age statement, basically, because you're blending continuously.
Yeah, their theory is they take some of the stuff at the end and put it back to the beginning so that they can say that everything that comes through
Has
is
a
from the
drop of this.
Stitzel-Weller distillery.
Yep. Solera system is not recognized for blending in Kentucky, is it? This was started in Jerez for sherry.
Sherry.
Correct? So
Yeah, Burns has one for their rum too.
it's like those infinity barrels.
Yeah.
That's There's got to be some molecules of some 100-year-old whiskey in here.
Well, there's a
There
lot of, I mean, Whistle
Does it
Pig.
taste like 100-year-old
Or
whiskey?
not Whistle Pig.
Who?
Who is it that does the Solera? There's a couple of them out there
Glenfiddich's
doing
got a
it.
Solera, the 15.
No, I mean, here in the
Glenfiddich's
U.S.
Solera, but when they say 15, they say 15 is the minimum age. Their Solera stuff goes back almost 50 years, 60 years.
Well, I'm sort of saying.
But does it really translate into the taste of the product? That's what we're going to find out in the middle of the story.
Who
So-
wants to go first on this one? I don't feel like going first, man.
I'm still describing the spirit, son.
All right.
I'm going to get
You
back
were
to it.
describing it.
You're in a rush.
I wasn't in. Who can go slower, Justin? You or me? I can go pretty slow on this. Oh God!
You have experience
Actually,
from
my wife speaks slower than
Alabama.
that.
Yeah.
God.
So the
Maury,
young-
Maury, you gonna get in on this? Son?
I'm going to get in on it.
Bob's the only one who can do Kentucky. Can you do Charleston?
I didn't want to interrupt.
South Carolina. Come on, Jordan. Bob's just staring at us. He is so mad right now.
Dealing with a group of absolute knuckleheads.
Where's my sound effect?
Gee, wow.
so as the whiskey's pulled from the bottom
Not
level
hardly any
for,
sound effects today.
for bottling, the whiskey from each level is subsequently drained into the next next lower level, with the newer whiskey being added to the top level, kind of like a whiskey pyramid scheme. None of these barrels are ever fully
We call it the Amway whiskey.
right. None of these barrels are ever fully emptied, so that each bottle contains a portion of that original Stitzel Weller whiskey.
This is not poor man's Pappy, though.
So, since I call everything too many shades of brown, this one's more like a light orange.
Orange.
Orange. And on the nose, it has like a really nice floral note to it.
You didn't find this muted? Right off the bat, I thought this was muted.
You, again, this one is one that air didn't do any kindness to. So,
But it
once you-
definitely was floral up front.
It's floral up front. Pour it and pour whatever you want and drink it within
Drink
the
it.
first 15 minutes and put the cap back on that bottle, and you're going to enjoy it the most. On the palate, I got vanilla, and I had a light durian pastry note on this.
Durian
right on
is
the palate.
disgusting. How
Well,
would
see,
you say-
durian smells disgusting, but it tastes awesome. That's the
It does
irony of the
taste so-
fruit.
It's prepared properly. It tastes
It
delicious.
would you
smells
prepare it?
like
I've
the
only had it
corpse
raw.
flower, but
No,
it
you
tastes
can't eat it raw.
sweet.
You have to cook it.
No.
Yeah,
I've had durian in a smoothie.
right.
I was in Singapore. This is a fruit so stinky.
Too bad they let
there
it
are
out.
signs that say you're not allowed to bring this on the trains on the subway.
Right.
No eating durian.
No,
in
it's
public.
awesome.
In
It's
Houston, they made a
awful.
pastry out of it, a sweet
Seriously.
pastry,
I've never had cooked durian. I've only had it raw.
and it was
It's like-
outstanding.
It's like onions and feet.
The woman who sold it to me warned me against it, but I thought it was good. And my significant other,
And
who normally
you
doesn't
just
have a wide
compared
palate,
this disgusting fruit that is banned most places where they actually eat it.
not the palate of it. I mean, not the
You just
nose,
compared
the
that to Blaine
palate
Boat.
of it.
They will never send us whiskey again.
No. It's the good part of the
The
durian
good part of the
fruit,
durian fruit.
the taste.
All right,
So, Maury, what did
I'm
you
gonna have
think
to
of
cook-
this?
Taste cooked durian.
I agree with you, Justin. I think this is a delicious whiskey. Now, I must admit, coming off of the last one, which was a fabulous whiskey, it's just a different style. But I like this whiskey quite a lot. I love the color. It's got a beautiful mahogany color. It's got a lot going on the palate. It's got a nice viscosity. It's got a medium to long finish. There's nothing wrong with this whiskey. I thought it was delicious. I think it's well done. I think it's just a very nice expression. Can't say enough good things about it. Durian or not.
Durian or not? Better not be durian. Oh my god.
The one thing the listeners should know is what the significance of the Stitzel Weller distillery is. They have made the famous Pappy Van Winkle bourbon and rye that everyone raves about, and they've been behind some of the best bourbons that have come out in the late 80s, early 90s. Matter of fact,
Back when you
Berghoff,
couldn't give bourbon away, and now
back when you
everybody
couldn't
wants
give bourbon away, Berghoff's had their own special release of their house whiskey, which was made from the Stitzelweller distillery. It's been my life's journey to find some and try some. Bob's had it. Bob, tell us about Berghoff's house whiskey.
So from the Berghoff restaurant in Chicago, which is, I believe, now closed, but it was there for like 100 years. And that was their house whiskey was bottled by Stitzelweller. And we got a chance to try some.
So you're saying we could have some
when I was
Berghoffs
in
the
Chicago a couple of years back with a bunch of other guys, and that was one of the bottles that was on this absolutely insane killer table of whiskey. And I took pictures of it because I've only ever seen pictures. I've never actually seen a real bottle of it. And it was just classic Stitzelweller. It was like drinking a 1950s or 1960s very old Fitzgerald. I mean, it was just butterscotch bomb. It was so good. I mean, it's a historic property. Unfortunately, it succumbed like a lot did back. I think 92 was their last year of
I
distilling.
have a friend who's got a 1954 Fitzgerald. He's never opened it. It was his dad's Fitzgerald. What do I tell him? Sell it? Drink it?
No, drink it.
Tell him to bring it over here. We'll get rid of it for him. It's
we'll
probably
drink it
bad.
here with him.
Yeah.
It's that old. It's probably no good anymore. So he should bring it here. And I can properly dispose of that for him so no one gets
This is
sick.
the caveat. It was an export bottle, so it's I think 80 proof or 80.
It's not.
That's fine.
Yeah. Export is, even though it says bottled in bond, it's not 100 proof.
Yeah.
But
And it could
doesn't
be
matter.
British
It's still good.
Awful. It's probably awful.
Yeah, it's
Just tell
terrible.
him to
I'll
get
just,
rid of it.
Yeah.
I'll just tell him we should take it off his hands.
Yeah.
We'll come pick it up.
Yeah. I know. So, of my notes, what did I say? Color's brown. The nose is still muted to me. I've let this have air. It's floral. A little bit. You guys keep saying pear.
Blow
I've got
on it.
pear on the nose. I don't get no pear. Little
That's what
brown
she said.
sugar, little flowers, a little bit of nuttiness, just tiny bits of vanilla. I'm expecting more from the famous Stitzelweller distillery.
And that's where I think your rating comes in. I think you're biased. You expected more. I think if you ignore where it's coming from and you just drink it for what's in the glass, I think it's a delicious whiskey.
Yeah, if you didn't play up the whole Stitzelweller thing, I would be like, this is yummy. Drink
But
it.
if I owned it, I'd play the heck out of it. So
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Every chance I get, I'd make sure that name was prominent somewhere.
I'm sorry. You guys drink this. I'm going back. One glass.
Weren't they going to do the bullet?
Bardstown.
Pushing the Stitzelweller on the bullet brand? At one
Well,
point?
they have the bullet experience at the Stitzelweller distillery, but they built a new distillery just to make the bullet at. So, and that's just outside of town, outside of Louisville, east of Louisville, like as you're heading out to Frankfurt. I haven't been there yet, but it's a real nice facility from what I've been told, and they've got it all set up. It's all energy efficient and solar panels and all that kind of stuff. But really, really nice
But
place.
Bullet tried to market and make a little tie into Stitzelweller, especially because of that.
Well, they did, yeah. I mean,
But the bullet has nothing to do with Stitzelweller, right? Except it's Diageo.
They were selling
Diageo
bullet
also owns bullet.
at the facility in a gift shop.
But Tom's office is actually what used to be Pappy's office, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I mean, when you stand in there, you're like, wow, this is
You are
really
such a geek.
This is really kind of
I
cool.
was in the same office Pappy Van Winkle stood at. Come on, man.
Look who's talking about geek.
I'm going to geek out about scotch.
Dear God, please.
So does anybody know if the 22-year version of Blade and Bow, is that supposed to be all Stitzelweller or?
I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I tried to see if I could secure us one of those, but they were already gone. So
And are they using the same stills?
no.
So they've
No, none of the stills and stuff. That's all you can use. The problem with that facility is it's just an old facility. So, and it's probably, from what I've heard, probably filled with asbestos and just going in there you'd have to rip it completely down. It'd cost them a fortune to basically rebuild everything to start distilling there. And it's too close to town, it's surrounded by, different industrial parks and stuff like that. So it's just easier to move out of town and do it there. But I mean, there's still quite a few of the rick houses there. And the buildings are still there. I'm assuming the stills are still inside, but It's just easier to move it out of town.
So is the Blade and Bow distilled there or not?
No,
No.
they have a small still there that they do like projects on, but no, that's only been for a couple of years. This is all stuff that Diageo has got, leftover whiskeys,
They're old stocks.
old stocks, stuff.
They
that
also
they've
do
got.
the Orphan Barrel Project. They've
Yeah.
got old stocks from
You got
everywhere.
to remember when they took over that, there was all kinds of different brands that had been merged into one, and National Distillers and Shenley and all these other companies that had all been merged in together. So if you go into those warehouses, it's not like going into a warehouse at Jim Beam where everything in there is Jim Beam. It's you go into that warehouse and there's all kinds of different stuff in there. I mean, heck, there's Dickel in there because they own Dickel, and they don't have enough warehouse space down in Tennessee. So a lot of that comes up and gets aged there. So there's all kinds of different brands and manufacturers in there. So they take all of that stuff and, they're making something with it. So, I mean, I think this is lovely. It's got it's got a really nice nose to it. The palate.
Again, if you don't tell me about the whole Stitzelweller story, this is lovely whiskey.
I mean, it's got a
Okay.
very sweet palate.
That's why I take issue with your rating.
It's got a very mild pepper to it. It's got a pretty good finish. It seems to stay with you. Certainly a solid whiskey. Certainly a solid whiskey. And again, it's a benefit and a curse having that name.
Yeah.
That's the problem because really, I mean, let's be realistic. How much original Stitzel juice is in here? Well, that's why they're doing with the Solera, because they stopped.
Couple molecules,
They stopped.
at least.
Well, they stopped distilling there in '92. So how much can they possibly have left? Probably very little. And if they have any, hopefully it's been transferred to stainless, or else it's pretty over oak. But they're taking all the different stocks they've got and blending these things together and coming out with some very interesting products. So,
Do we have a rating?
more power to them. So we're going to be giving the Blade and Bow. What do you guys say?
3.
We're giving it 3 sips.
Under protest.
Interesting.
I'm going back to the other one, man. Wow.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and you can catch all of our episodes where you found this one, as well as on terrestrial and satellite radio, and online at iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, CBS Radio, radio.com, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and pretty much any place you can find a podcast. The easiest way to find this show on your phone is to ask Alexa, Siri, Google, or whoever it is that talks to you on your phone, play podcast Sips, Suds, and Smokes. We love
Hey,
your
did you
feedback.
talk about the iHeartRadio award we got?
Yeah, like a year ago. Thanks for interrupting. We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at SipSudSmoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands of other fans on those social media platforms. You can also check us out on Instagram at SipSudsandSmokes or at MadeManBob. Do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode. If you're listening to us online, that's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. I want to thank our co-host for joining us today. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you, Maury.
Thank you, Bob. Another great day in the basement. We had some really nice expressions today.
Do I say thank you to him?
No.
I'm just going to say roll tide and leave it there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it with him today. So
I'm going to thank you, Bob. Thank you for having me.
nobody wants to have you.
My wife has me. She has no choice.
God bless
It's
her.
in wedlock.
And for Sips, Suds, and Smokes, this is Made Man Bob, and we thank you for joining us. And remember, life is too short to drink bad whiskey.
Remember when you used to say life's too short to drink cheap whiskey? I had to correct you. I corrected you for many shows. And now you do it.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.